This is Lucifera.
And this is Entropy, here again to finish off the book of Revelation. First of all, and I'm going to make this as quick as possible, I'd like to talk about what God people seem to be serving now. Let's get a picture up of him. Do you see this God right here? This God's name is Pan. It is the God, the name, the root where we get the word panic from. Now, people are in a state of panic because of the Ebola virus, mainly, terrorism going on, Christians being persecuted. Ridiculous. Christians, you're not being persecuted. We talked about this before. 10,000 Christians killed every year. That is a lie. Go look at our video about this called
Christian Propaganda, Public Lies.
I can put a link up to that here. Yes, the 10,000 a year number is a lie. I'm not going to get into it because we already did on that video. But you are in a state of panic, and not just the Christians. If you think this Ebola virus at this point right now is a plague, you are a fool. You're a fool. 4,000 people on this planet have died of this Ebola outbreak, and they are exaggerating the hell out of it on the news. 250,000 to 500,000 people die every year of plain old flu. So I'm not going to get into this. If you want to worship this God right here that you see, what does this God look like to you? Does this God look like, it looks like Yahweh to me, looks like Jehovah to me. This is your God. Your God is fear, folks. You're worshiping fear. If you're truly enlightened and you are truly serving the true God, then why would you even be afraid? You shouldn't be afraid for a second. I'm not afraid. Are you afraid, Lucy?
No.
We're not afraid. Why should we be afraid? There's nothing to be afraid of. There is nothing that's going to affect the true chosen people, whatever you want to call us, the
Aeons or light beings.
That's who we are, and we're doing it. We're not trying. We are. Lucy and I are putting out this message, and we're trying to get people to understand as best we can. There's really no more we can do than what we're doing. And those out there who call themselves servants of the light beings, people of the true God, however you want to put it, should be out there doing the same. You should be out there doing the same. And one thing for sure is you shouldn't be worshiping this God you see right here, because that's what people are worshiping right now, and they're going to continue to worship him to a point where they're going to come against people like us who I have been called stupid and insane and on drugs simply because I point out the fact that the Ebola virus isn't a big deal. Just because they keep beating the drums that it is doesn't make it so. And you're going to make it a big deal, Christians. That's what you do. You take things and you create your own fulfillment of your own prophecies. And that's all you're doing, Christians. And you better watch out, because right after you start fulfilling your own prophecies, which will be the beginning of what you call the tribulation, after that, the end of the tribulation comes, and it's going to come against you. It's going to be a hell of a lot worse than anything that the true servants of the light are going to have to endure. And that's all I'm going to say anymore about this Ebola virus. If you people want to give in to this God right here, you go right ahead. I'm not going to bow down and worship him, but you go right ahead. You are embracing fear like it's your children. You are embracing it and holding on to it like it's your own children. Let it go. You have nothing to be afraid of. That being said, let's finish this book of Revelation. Remember, just because we're discussing these end times, we're talking about a new world to come. You have nothing to fear as long as you realize that you have nothing to fear, because fear is doubt. Doubt in yourself and doubt in your destiny. Those of us who are actually listening, who are actually hearing the Spirit, and who are actually enlightened. Now, we ended in Revelation chapter 10. Now, chapter 10 is perhaps the most important verse that I wanted to discuss.
Chapter 10, verse 7. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets.
Okay, you're hearing this right now. The mystery of God is finished. The mystery of God is that we are all God. That's the mystery. That's the big mystery. And the seventh angel is speaking to you. If you can hear it. If you can hear him or her. The mystery of God is that we are all God. Something that you know in your heart, in your gut. You know it. And anyone that tells you differently is a liar. If out of anything else that you take from these videos that we've done on the book of Revelation, I want you to take that. That is the most important thing that we're going to have to say. And it's the same thing that we're saying in virtually all of our videos. Ye are God. You are God. You just have to find that within yourself. Have faith in yourself. Because let me tell you, things are going to get bad. They're going to get real bad. But it's not going to be bad for those who have faith in themselves. You're going to have to reach into your gut and make it through the next few years. Realize that these people who are afraid do not know what you know. And don't let them take it away from you. You are God. You have that within you. And the seventh angel has sounded. And that voice that you are hearing in your own mind, that is the truth. You are God. If you take anything from these videos on the book of Revelation, take that. Now on to Revelation chapter 11. Chapter 11, verse 2. I'll just read 1 and 2. And there was given to me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given to the Gentiles, and the holy city shall tread under foot 42 months. Here's where Christians get the concept of the 7-year tribulation. 42 months is 3.5 years. And also here the two witnesses that teach witness for 1,260 days, 3.5 years. It's all about 7 years. I don't know if it's 7 years. I'm not even going to delve into whether that's an actual 7 years or not. What I believe this particular verse, Revelation 11, verse 2, is speaking about when it says, For it is given unto the Gentiles the holy city, which I assume is Jerusalem, although I'm not 100% positive of that. We can go with that. There is another version of this verse, not the King James Version. Here's the New Living Translation of the Bible. Revelation chapter 11, verse 2, But do not measure the outer courtyard, for it is given to turn over to the nations. They will trample the holy city for 42 months. Now, at one time I interpreted this as meaning the United Nations. And I believe, and I can be wrong, you see, that's another thing not to be afraid of being wrong, because we are all wrong at times. So, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's no big deal. But I did interpret this as meaning the United Nations. The United Nations would be sent to oversee the city of Jerusalem. I did interpret it that way at one time. Right now, since not a lot's going on in Jerusalem, but has in the past, several months, it always does. We'll just have to wait and see if that happens. But certainly if the United Nations is sent to oversee and some kind of tentative peace in Jerusalem, that's certainly indication that that the end times are here. I mean, I couldn't imagine that happening at any other time. Merely my interpretation of the verse, and not necessarily what's going to happen. Now, all I'm going to say about these two witnesses that are mentioned in Revelation chapter 11 is obviously their ministry hasn't started yet, or we would know it, right? I mean, these two witnesses are pretty profound people. They thought of to be reincarnations of Elijah or whatever. So if that's the case, if they're capable of doing what it says they're capable of doing in this verse, and there are actual people, and this is not just some allegorical story, then we would already know who they are if their witnessing had already started. So if people are saying, I think it's this, I think it's that, it can't possibly be the case. You'd already know who they are. So that's all I'm going to say about the two witnesses.
I just want to say one thing. These two witnesses, they're actually persecuted, even to the point of death.
And the idea that these two witnesses would be traditional Christians out there is just, again, a Christian construct. It's just not going to happen that way, folks.
And there's been many people who have claimed to be the two witnesses, and they always use money for their gain.
If anybody is telling you that they're the Christ, or that they're servants of God, or that they're prophets, blah blah blah, and they're making millions of dollars on it, trust me, they're not. They're not servants. They're not servants of the truth. The Buddha. The Buddha died as a beggar. The Buddha died as a beggar, and the Christ didn't even have a roof over his head. He had to rely on other people. It says in the Bible, "I don't even have a place to lay my head." So if it's somebody who's making millions of dollars off of this, trust me, it ain't them. That's not them. They're just using you.
They're false.
Okay, moving on to chapter 12. Chapter 12, we're not going to be specific about because we've already discussed this in one of our former videos. But chapter 12, we discussed this in Yahweh is Satan, which was one of our more popular videos, so I'm sure most of you listening to this have already seen it. But if you haven't, check it out, Yahweh is Satan. Because here in chapter 12 we have a future event of Satan being cast out of heaven.
Regarding the two witnesses, when they die, they ascend to heaven. This is when Satan, or Jehovah, is cast down.
That's what happens in the next chapter, in chapter 12. So it's reasonable to think that whoever these two witnesses are, they're also the ones in spirit form who go up into the heavens perhaps. Maybe not heaven, the traditional heaven, but this pretender to the throne who is sitting on the throne now, this Jehovah, this Yahweh, this Satan is going to be cast down to heaven, from heaven, and whether that's the heavens or heaven. And then it says that he looks around and he gets angry. He goes after the children, the true, the light beings. But then when he can't pursue them, he pursues his own people. He starts going after the Christians himself. And this is what's going to happen. This is your future, Christians. You want to continue to be in that church. This is what you can expect.
This would be the dragon.
The dragon that's cast out, Satan, which is referred to.
That goes against the woman too.
Yeah, in chapter 12 here. Okay, chapter 13 refers to the Antichrist, the beast, and there's so much out there about the beast and the Antichrist, what it is. It's a good chance that this may be a new Islam, Muslim church that persecutes and kills the Christians in the last part of the tribulation. It could be a Christian church. It could be a number of things. I'm not really even going to to offer up a theory on that, unless Lucy wants to say something about it.
One good interpretation of this would be the beast is Christianity.
The Christians may just be persecuting the true saints, which are the Gnostics and the people that are following the true path here. There's, like I say, right now there's just so many possibilities that even to offer up a definitive answer to this, as so many Christians like to do, is rather foolish at this point. There's no way of telling exactly what this is going to be. One thing's for sure is that whoever this Antichrist is, he's going to be rounding up a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to be dying. Of course,
that's if this Antichrist is a person or a government.
Could be a number of different things, so I'm not going to offer up a whole lot of interpretation here. Revelation, moving on through this quickly. Revelation chapter 17, we've already discussed the whore of Babylon being the church, and the harlots, the mother of harlots, the harlots being the Protestant churches, the whore being the Catholic Church. So we've already discussed this.
Let me backtrack here for a minute. In my last video I mentioned the angels pouring out their bowls. I just wanted to go in a little more detail here for a minute. In Revelation 15, verse 1, it says, "And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God." Now these angels, a lot of people think of angels as beings from another dimension or world, beings with wings. This is not necessarily the case. My interpretation of this is that they are actually human beings, at least some of them are, and they could be flying their jets, and like some people believe they're spraying all this stuff out in the sky and just doing all these different things. So it could be very well human beings spreading these bowls of wrath, or these bowls of these different plagues.
As many people want to come out and say that some of the interpretations that we have some people that want to mock our videos here about Revelation. You say I show interpretations of these locusts. They sound like helicopters to me, and these horses sound like tanks. But these are just our interpretations. We're just throwing them out there for you to think about, and trust me, they're no more ridiculous than the idea that there will be actual angels in the sky that you will see, or that there will be actual demons that come out of a bottomless pit, which Christians literally think that that's what's going to happen. So for people who want to mock us, fine. If you want to mock what we're saying, we're just trying to put it in a way that is more logical, that makes more sense. So interpreting these angels as possibly even just being planes or whatever is no less silly than anything else than any other Christian is going to come up with. I wanted to end these videos on Revelation chapter 18. Now, of course, it goes on to talk about the New World. I'll let other people come up with their own interpretation of what that means. I think that fundamentally what I'm here to do personally, me talking about myself, not even me and necessarily Lucy together, but I believe I'm here personally just to help people through these times as best I can. So the new world to come is, somebody else's interest. It's not mine. Right now, let's deal with one day at a time. That's what Buddhists do. We live in the moment, so let's deal with the moment now. And what I would like to end this with is Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. This is directed to those people who are in the traditional Christian churches.
And I heard another voice from heaven, saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
The worst plague here is not some sickness and disease that we're going to get. This is the worst plague right here. This is how I started this particular video, and this is how I'm going to end it. If you're going to continue to worship at the altar of fear, then that is all you're going to know. If you want to hold on to your fear like it is something precious, like it's your own child, then you go right ahead. But do not call us fools and drug addicts and crazy because we choose not to do so. If you want to hold on to your God Pan, you go right ahead. That is your plague. Or you can come out of her. You can come out of her. You can leave this Christian church that is nothing but a bunch of fear-mongering. That is all they do. So if you want to worship at the altar of fear, the Christian church, and you want to worship your God of fear, Yahweh, Jehovah, you go right ahead. Me, Lucy, and those out there who are enlightened enough to see what's really going on, we're not worshiping this Yahweh, Jehovah, this Pan anymore. So that's where we want to end it, because that is the most important thing that we're trying to say to you in any of our videos. Come out of her, because this Christian church is only de-evolving into something that is going to be much, much worse evil than you've ever seen on this planet before.
You are basically devolving into demons, or
Yeah.
archons.
Yeah, look at what this God looks like, because that's what you're devolving into, just like your God. You want to be a mirror image of your Lord? Look at him. This is your God now, Christians.
He is basically transforming you first from the mind, and then most probably physically too at some point, because Christians love talking about resurrecting and becoming these new beings, but Jehovah's goal is to transform you into an archon.
Fear and anger, and that's what you're giving into, and anger is just a manifestation of fear. So this is what we have to say about the book of Revelation. And you know what? We're not going to be talking much about it. It hasn't been our most popular videos, but we felt like we needed to do it, and we finished it now. So for those of you who are enlightened enough to understand what we're saying, more power to you. Because the thing is, in the next few years, you are going to have to conquer this God right here. You're going to have to conquer it within you, because this God is a part of us. This is the darkness that's within us, this fear, this Pan, and we are going to conquer it, and we are going to move on into a new world free from this tyranny of fear.
As it says, the Lamb shall overcome the beast.
Exactly. Very good. So this is the end of the Revelation videos. For those of you who did watch them, I hope you enjoyed them. And this is Entropy 666 signing off. Talk to you next time.
And this is Lucifera, signing out.